I'm recording right now. This here. Okay, so next time if somebody can just point out that to me at the beginning of the class so I don't forget to record. That is the first time I forgot, by the way. Okay, so try to figure out what number is missing in each rectangle here, in each box, according to what the two steps we did, the two steps we talked about.
Professor,
Yes.
when you get the time at the end of class, maybe could you just like slowly scroll up, like what you've done so far, or have you?
Okay, okay. So I even can go ahead and save that file, the Word file, and post it on Brightspace. Okay,
Okay,
yeah, I can do that.
thank you.
All right. So what is the first number to add in the first one, everybody?
7.
7 what? Is it only 7 or this or what?
7 square.
7 square. So we take that number and we square it, right? If you just add 7, it would not do it. So we have to add 7 square, which is 49, right?
Oh, I thought you meant what goes in the parentheses. Okay.
Okay. Now what goes in the parentheses? Now you are right. Now it's going to be x plus 7 all squared, right? The half of this number right here, positive 14. Okay, the next one, which number you have to add to make it a perfect square?
9
9 what?
squared, which is
9
81.
squared, 81. That number is is 81. And when we do that, the three of them become a perfect square, which is x minus 9 all square. You see here the minus here, everybody, as you see the minus, this sign and this sign, they should always match, okay? Always. The next one, the next box, what number we have to add to make it a perfect square?
16.
The next one here.
1.
1, right? Because the half of 2 is 1, 1 square is 1. And when we do that, we get x minus 1 all squared, which is half of negative 2. The half of negative 2 is negative 1. That's why we have negative 1 here. Okay, the last one now. What is the number in front of the x?
1.
1.
So that would be 1/2.
1/2, and then you have to square that, right? Which is 1 over, you see 1/2
4.
squared is 1 over 4. So we have to add 1 over 4. And when you do that, we get
Oh,
what?
gosh. These
Yes.
guys are really good.
Or, you know, if I don't like fractions, I always can go to the decimal because the half of 1 is 0.5. And the square of 0.5 is 0.25, right? 0.25. So it doesn't have to be fractions, but you know, when you do algebra, it's just nicer with fractions rather than decimals. Okay, so that is, you know, now we have learned how to add to make it a perfect square. Now we're going to see how to solve by doing that. Solve by completing the square. Okay, so we say x squared plus 8x minus 3 equals 0, right? For instance. As of now, the only method that we know as of now, do they work nicely here? For instance, factoring. You know, can you come up with two numbers that factor here?
No,
I don't think so, right? So add to 8, multiply to -3. Those two numbers are not easy to find. Okay, the square root property, the one we just did at the beginning of the class, does not work nicely here. But what I want to make it work. You see, basically, I want to transform this stuff into a perfect square equals something. That's what I want. Okay, I want to do some manipulations to get exactly something that looked like this, something that looked like the example we did prior, this example right here. Something that looked like this, you see? I wanted that. So, bear with me, it's very easy. What you're gonna do? We're gonna, first of all, we're gonna add 3. Add 3 on both sides. Why? Because I wanted these two to be alone. So I add 3, I add 3. What I get x squared plus 8x equals positive 3, right? You see now? I want to make it a perfect square. So I know one number is missing. So complete to perfect square. That is why the method is called completing the perfect square. Complete to perfect square. I know I have to add a number, x squared plus 8x. I have to add one number to make it a perfect square, right? Okay, and we just learned what number to add, right? Everybody tell me what number to add to make it a perfect square.
16.
16, thank you very much, right? We just learned 16 is missing, right? Okay, and that is the key. Because now when I add 16, these three on the left side, they become x plus 4 whole square, right? And this is what I wanted. Okay, before I even proceed, if I keep going, what's going to be wrong? Can somebody tell me?
The 3, what's up with the 3?
The 3, right? So the 3, I added 16 on the left side. What I ought to be on the right side? What I ought to do on the right side also?
Add 16.
Exactly. This is an equation. Every time you have an equation, whatever you do on one side, you have to do on the other side, right? So don't forget, add 16 here and add 16 here. Don't forget that, right? I know that is a very common mistake, you know, forgetting to add 16 on both sides. That is very common. So we get 19. Of course, now you know what to do next, right? Because we did that the first half of the class, right? You know you have to apply what?
Well, you have to solve it. Oh,
yeah,
boy.
apply square root first, right? Plus or minus, we get x plus 4 is equal to plus or minus square root of 19, and then minus 4, we get x equal to negative 4 plus or minus square root of 19, right? You see, that method works very nicely, especially if there is no number in front of the x square, right? If the only number in front of x squared is 1, that method works very, very nicely, all right? So let's do.
Oh my gosh, wait, slow down.
Yeah.
This is a lot going on here.
Yes, go ahead.
Getting really messy.
Go ahead. What step you wanna see?
Okay, I just need to slow down. Okay, bring the 4 over, so it's minus 4, and then either plus or minus square 19.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay, so if you come back to this method, what is the main step? What is the main step? Is the addition of 16. That is the main step. Okay? The addition of 16 on both sides. That is the main step. That is why the method is called completing to the perfect square. That is why we say complete to perfect square is to add 16. And where 16 come from, we know where it's come from is h divided by 2, 4. 4 squared is 16. Because when we do that, the 3 of them on the left side, they always become a perfect square, right? And that is what we want. We wanted them to become a perfect square, right? So if you have like something like that, one of them x squared minus 10x minus 1 is equal to 8. Okay, so that is one equation. Try to do this one. And the second one is x squared plus 2x plus 9 is equal to 2. Okay, try to repeat exactly the same steps we talked about and see what solution we'll come up with.
Wait, I mean,
Mhm.
I guess I could wait till you get there, but with the negative 10x,
Uh-huh.
how can that be a square?
No, a number is missing. You
Yeah, I
see,
know, I know.
yeah. So, and the number to add to make the three. I mean, so first of all, the one has to go right on the other side. Okay,
Okay, never mind. Sorry. Okay, I got
you got that. Okay, so.
it. Professor, your mic's on. Just by the way.
Yeah. So we're gonna go over them now. So can you go ahead and Noel, can you go ahead and tell us what are the first steps here? The steps we do for the first one?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see. We bring the 1 over.
Yeah. +1 + 1. So we get x squared minus 10x equal to 9. Okay.
And then
Now
I
what
just put a little blank there, so I know half of -10 is -5, and that squared would be 25.
Yep, 25 here. How much you gonna do here also?
I'm gonna need to add the 25 on that side.
Yep. This is right.
And so I know x squared minus 10x plus 25 is x minus 5 squared.
Thank you. This is right. And equal to what? 30.
34. And then to get rid of that square, we have to square root it. Both sides.
Yep. And then
plus and a minus in front of that. Yep. And so
that right.
That gets rid of the square, so it's x minus 5 equals plus minus square root of 34. Then I get the x by itself, so we add 5 to both sides.
Yeah, this is right. X equal to 5 plus or minus square root of 34. Thank you. That is absolutely correct. These are the steps, that we need to solve this one. Okay, thanks. So who's going to do the last one? The steps for the last one.
I can do it.
Go ahead, please.
It's okay, I wrote it on the bottom. I'm sorry. You subtract the 9 from both sides to start, which gives you x squared plus 2x plus the box equals -7.
How much you added?
We're adding 1.
Yep.
So when we add 1 to both sides.
Yep.
So the second part will be x plus 1 squared equals -6.
That is right.
And then I'll do the square root of both. So it'll be x plus 1 equals plus or minus I square root of 6.
That is right.
And then x will equal 1 plus or minus I square root of 6.
Yes, -1. Yep. We have to subtract, right?
-1.
The -1 plus or minus I squared of 6. Thank you very much. You see, so
are there going to be any more steps in this? This is getting, my anxiety levels are going through the roof. This is craziness right here.
Now, I mean, this right here in this topic, this is a type of equation you're going to see in this topic, right? No more steps, no less steps.
No more. I can't handle it.
Yeah, I mean, so for this topic now, why this method is not always friendly? And we're going to close by that today. Why it's not always friendly? I give you an example. Okay, so when you say, for instance, so 7x squared, right, plus 9x minus 1 equals 0, right? You see, this method right here, or plus 8x, just put plus 8x, right? This method right here is not very friendly. What makes this example, firstly, what makes this example very different from the other examples we did?
Well, you've got something in front of the x squared. You got that 7.
Exactly. And we have 7, right? So if I want to apply this method, if I want to complete a perfect square, if I leave it like this, adding 16 does not work. You see, The only case adding 16 would work if the x7 was not there. So I have to get rid of 7 if I want to apply this formula, I mean this method. The 7 has to go. But the problem is the only way the 7 has to go is to divide by 7, right? But when I divide by 7, look what happens. Everybody by 7, look what happened. I'm gonna have some very, you know, some very not nice numbers, right? I will have 8 over 7x and minus 1 over 7 equals 0, right?
You're really upsetting Noel.
You see, and then what was simple becomes a little bit harder. What was simple is to figure out what number to add. You see here, no hesitations. The number to add is 25 here. The number is to add is 1 here, no hesitation. But now here, if I ask you what numbers to add now, I will have some hesitation going on, right? If I say x squared plus 8 over 7x equal to 1 over 7, if I ask you what is number to add, what missing number, you have to think of it as a fraction. You see? Because now what was easy is to half of the number. What is half of the fraction 8 over 7? What is a fraction? What is a half of the fraction 8 over 7? You see, now it becomes a little bit harder.
8 over 14.
8 over 14, thank you. If you want the half of a fraction, you have to double up the denominator, right? You see, 8 over 14 is the half of the fraction. So, but don't worry, I'm not asking this on the test. I'm just making the point. This method works very, very well, but sometimes you will have to deal with, in general, if I don't think about the equation I'm going to give you, it's just I give you a random equation, it can have some heavy calculation, right? Okay, so the half of the fraction 8 over 7 is 8 over 14, which is 4 over 7. Now, when you square that, you get 16 over 49. You see, that is a number to add. You see, and that is not very, very friendly. Okay, but just, you know, I was just making the point. The method is very good. It does work every single time, but if you have something else in front of the x squared, then you could have some nasty calculations. Okay, so, but for our class, for us, we just content of these type of problems right here, where you don't have nothing in front of the x squared. Okay, and you know, and we're going to do the steps. Okay, that is the second method. And the third method, we're going to do it Tuesday next week, is the method that's going to be our default method. That is a quadratic formula. And we're going to do that Tuesday next week. It is a formula, right? And a formula in math or physics or whatever you have in science, a formula is meant to be memorized, okay? Once I give you the formula next week, I am expecting everybody to know the formula by heart, right? Which means if you don't have the notes, you still know the formula. You remember, in the test, we're not allowed notes, right? So you have to know the formula. And I'm going to write it next week. It is called the quadratic formula. So it has to be memorized, right? So we're going to do that next week. So meanwhile, you know, I hope everybody is doing the, you know, my open math, because remember, you will need those points. I will post, you know, the review. You know, if I check the, okay, you see, if you go to Brightspace, right? When you go to Brightspace, you have the final exam. Let me share my screen. You're gonna see. Okay, if you go to Brightspace, you see when you go to Brightspace, right? Everybody see my screen right here. You go to Brightspace right here. You do content. You go to content on Brightspace right here. When you go to content, you're gonna see final exam review right here. You're going to click on it and you see final exam review problems right here. It's a very nice stuff, right? You know, you have a lot of problems, by the way, a lot, you know. But you have also very, very nice solutions right here. You see, this is just the answer key, only the answer key right here. Only the answer key. But this one here is the details answer key, where we have all the steps. Some people took time to write all this stuff, you see? You have all the steps, step by step, and you know, some side comments, okay?
So wait, when is the final exam?
Yeah, I mean, it is on the syllabus. I don't have the,
You're just
have the date.
giving us, letting us know we can be already doing this.
Yeah, because you know, the only thing about the final exam is, it's not hard. The only issue with the final exam, it takes, you know, it's gonna ask all the chapters, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. I think it is a good idea for you, if you have time, to go back to those chapters, you know, that we did like 2 months ago, right? And to refresh your mind about them, because you know, you're gonna see, eventually you're gonna see some of it on the final exam. So if you have this, you know, handy, every time you have, you know, some few time, you can go ahead and review the old chapters. All right. Okay, I'm gonna save the Word file. Like I said, I'm gonna post it on Brightspace, and also, you know, post the half that I recorded on Brightspace. All right, everybody, see you next week. Thank you very much. Yes?
Did you grade our?
Yeah, like I said, you know, yesterday was the whole time yesterday after my classes, I was getting all the copies, all the pictures, and transforming them into PDF files. I receive, you know, unfortunately, not all of you give me a single PDF file. Some people like give me like 7 pictures, you know. I have to go ahead, take them, make them become a single file, single PDF file, and it takes me a little bit of time, knowing that I have 4 classes, 5 classes that is a test. So, but I'm going to start grading them today, and probably in the next couple of days, you're going to see your grade on Brightspace.
Okay.
All right. See you next week.
See you next
Thank you.